Gina, how are you?
I'm really very well. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm so excited to be chatting with you. There's a lot of really hard-hitting, deep themes throughout the film. I want to know what your take is of the importance of this story in today's world.
I think it's something that I felt at the beginning, I felt in the middle, and certainly felt at the end of the process, in that we're making progress in terms of legislation to help the gay community, but it's a progress which is painfully slow and is threatened all of the time with halting and certainly threatened with regression. And so I do feel that that's something that I felt very, very keenly. And certainly when I started to look into the details of what was happening in the UK in the 1950s, and indeed when we see the characters in 1999, the legislation surrounding the attitudes towards the gay community was appalling and painfully slow. So those elements really galvanize you and keep things in perspective.
There isn't a terrible amount of dialogue from your character. We get a little bit, but I feel like there's so much speaking in the facial expressions that you use. Did you have to tap into anything to really, get into that because there's not a lot of speaking moments?
I think one of the interesting dynamics, which I really, really loved, is that you've got three characters who are brought together by a catalyst, and they're inside this bungalow on the south coast of England, and they are having, a scene which seemingly is ordinarily domestic, but actually the underlying current is vibrant and potent. And often I think in drama, certainly as an actor, things that I'm really interested in is non-verbal communication, what we choose to say to one another, but what we're actually communicating. And that dynamic and conflict and contradiction is something that I find fascinating to explore.
How do you get in your head for those scenes to really be able to portray that feeling?
I have various exercises that I nearly always do with every role, and
Sure.
you kind of go through those, and somehow by osmosis, it's like some kind of drip feed, and it's almost like a sort of unconscious thing too, because it's a process, but it's not on the nose. And
Sure.
so, and also there's a dynamic things like, for example, when you finally get on the set, there are things about being in a set, the influence of what the designer has contributed, the camera angles, the lighting, though all of those elements on the day add to something. So I suppose what you try to do is have all of the ingredients, and you have a kind of recipe, but you're not necessarily, it's not prescriptive. So you
Sure.
leave a certain contingent open to interpretation. And I think that's the excitement of working on a film.
When you add all the elements, then you really get the feeling all together.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Gina, it was so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time. You
Yeah.
do a wonderful job. The film is so good. I love it.
Oh, good. Thank you. It was really nice to meet you.
You as well. Have a great rest of your day.